Good morning. I do not like having my picture taken. And even more than that, I don't like being on video. But right now, normally I'd be driving to campus, to Kent State University at Stark campus, 62 and a half miles from where I am now. And I'd be getting ready to teach my afternoon classes, Introduction to Creative Writing and Fiction Writing 1 and 2. I miss being in the classroom with those students, but the transition online has gone okay. I've been thinking about this for a few days and I've seen other people do something similar, so it inspired me to put this out there and share a little bit about what I do, in part in my free time and certainly with my career. When I went away to college, I thought I was going to be a lawyer, maybe get into politics, studied philosophy, politics, English. And then my junior year in college, my professor I'd taken many classes with, Dean Young, pulled me aside after class one day and said, let's have a chat. And what do you think about going to graduate school for creative writing, for poetry? And immediately I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do with that? How am I going to make a career? How am I going to make a living? And he essentially said, don't worry. You love it. You're decent at it. It'll work out. And I remember the phone call home to tell mom and dad I wasn't going to take the LSAT and I wasn't going to go to law school. And dad said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm still going to go to grad school, but I'm going to write poems, Dad. And the silence that I got back for literally decades, I interpreted as him saying, okay, I have 4 other kids who aren't weird. I'll focus on them. But in reality, in talking through things with him in subsequent years, he said he wanted to support me and he didn't know how. And my parents have always been tremendously supportive to me, even if they didn't understand what I was trying to do. My father-in-law, the same way, when I went and asked for Bridget's hand in marriage, and he said, how are you going to support my daughter? Through writing poems? I said, no, not through writing poems. But I don't know. But Jack, we'll figure it out. And we have figured it out. And I'm thankful to have been at Kent State since 1998. Today, I'm gonna read 3 poems. I'll post the text in the comments. But these are 3 poems from 3 very different points in my life. All 3 have been published. Well, the last one is going to be published. But the first one is for Bridget. And I wrote this back in graduate school, actually. And it was published in 1999. And it rose out of an assignment where we were to write an artistic statement, how we wrote, to explain our poetry to people. And I wrote this long essay, and it was a terrible essay. So I took the essay and I chopped it. I chopped it to a prose poem. And it's funny, in years since then, Bridget's friends or coworkers, have asked her when Bridget's mentioned that I write poetry, they've thought, oh, isn't that so sweet? Does he write you love poems all the time? No, I don't. This is maybe the closest that I've come to a love poem for Bridget. And it's called Briquette. There's this person, or there are those people in the backyard, and for some odd reason, in the most unlikely situations, I come to love them. They're energizing and repulsive. They pulsate gratification. They fill that space, always that space, between myself and others, or myself and the vegetable tray. Then I think about how the best way to do it is blindfolded, how the truth is always urgently vulgar, how I burn my food and eat it and spit it out, and then burn it again and eat it and spit it out. I've ruined my best shirt doing this. It's not an emergency. It's just, I don't like leftovers. and I'd rather someone scantily clad than not clad at all. And I like a little difficulty. There may be easier, healthier ways of proceeding, but simplicity can't invoke excitement again and again and again. This is not to say don't be familiar, just don't be routine. It's to stress the importance of surprise, of complication, of you being able to tell me you're wrong, you're being an asshole. It's not about passion completely. It's about you looking great in a dress and even better in overalls. The second one was published, I think, in 2003 in Spoon River Poetry Review. It's called 9 Weeks In. And I read about my kids a lot. And I wrote about them even before they were really here. So this is 9 weeks in, and it's for Annie. 42 UPS trucks pass us on the highway, and urgency has never presented itself to me like this before. The browns and golds mosaic into an opaque curtain, and you are all thought, all aura and atmosphere. An idea inside your mom, inside a car, entering or leaving a corporation limit, ducking the landing planes, squirting through another county, at swimming peace, taking in David Bowie on the radio, eyeless, yet capable of bringing me to tears, with the thought of filling your head with bad space movies, plutonium, translucence, a Buzz Aldrin anecdote to instruct you against jealousy. You'll be able to escape from Germany at the end of World War II to build rockets for America. Play Rachmaninoff for the ice skaters in the park because the music always changes, and like music, you can alter moods by simply existing. You have power, but you don't know how to wield it. You are not the water melting, but the actual slip on the ice, that intangible in-between that occurs instantly and can't be held. And all I want to do is hold you. You are not my flat globe of limitation. You are not vain about your hair yet, only downy and spouting, tooth buds and touchpads. You are Lord Byron in space because you are adventure, scope, and enough caricature to accomplish such a feat. You need no reasons. You will see rain as energetic, judgment is vital, and elevators in everyone. You don't know time, only bloat and burble, tinge and prick skin. We're just learning what life is. And the last one, this is a newer poem. I wrote it over summer 2019, and it's coming up in Narrative Magazine, I think in a few weeks. There are two references in here. One of them is to a young man from Rocky River High School who tragically passed away this summer. And the other is to my grandpa Mac. I was there when he took his last breath, along with my sister and Tom. It's called Part of a Traveling Exhibition. What if there are really hidden portals that transport us to another dimension? And of course, we can't see the possible half-dozen exits, like sides of dice, unique to each of us because Steve Jobs hadn't invented this device that when held in front of our faces reveals our potential chalk outlines shimmering like brightly lit Pokemon appearing from virtual mist. But they're there. These world-scattered portals, perhaps disguised as potholes or memory foam mattress body indentations. And when we gamble and hit one of our six just right, with door to cabinet frame, metal to magnet, silvery click precision, click boom, we're gone, 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 leaving behind family and six friends to place what's left among the dogwood, root tendrils, and flaky pieces of freshly displaced soil. Like that poor kid from River who passed just a couple weeks ago, fallen from an ATV on a Lake Erie island, a world away from his Australian childhood. He couldn't have known his portal would be a perfect beach road click match, and his buddies would have to walk away carrying the terrible gravity of knowing it wasn't their door, their threshold, their time. Or the time my grandfather must have unconsciously twitch-clicked just precisely in his den's hospice bed, his mutant esophagus cells finally sealing shut that corporeal tunnel. And from the living room, Liz, Tom, and I heard the vacuum whoosh of his final breath, like an airlock chamber before he, chunky, spacesuit lumbered out into the starlit void. Or like those double glass passageways that lead from the exotic butterfly enclosure back into the broader zoo. The burst of wind ensuring you don't have a dainty turquoise hitchhiker in your hair, on your shoulder, its wings just barely moving, so you have to squint or don a pair of readers to notice the flutter. Yet should your butterfly, your transformed wizard of science and magic, escape into the vaster universe, it'd only take a slight perspective shift to realize his new world isn't a danger to him. It doesn't mean he's gone or lost, but he's off to possibility and adventure, as they'll smell cotton candy for the first time, drink from a sunny-spotted garden of brightly hued asters, drift over mesmerizing, splashing waters of synchronized fountains, and soar among the treetops, grateful that something like the majesty of giraffes can even exist. Thanks for listening. I hope this finds you and your family and your friends happy and healthy. Please stay that way. Listen to the scientists. Listen to the leaders who act like leaders in the time of crisis. Be well, everyone.